it's always those girls' night outs. Those girls' night outs and those girls' trips. And also, you mentioned solo trips. She wanted solo trip. Guys, that is a huge, huge red flag. Get out of there. She wants those. Get out.
Subject, she lied about the bar. I caught her red-handed. Hey there. First off, I want to say thank you for giving men like me a platform to share our truth. I've been a long-time listener of your channel. Some of these stories hit so close to home that I've sat in my truck, parked in silence after a shift just thinking, damn, that could have been me. That was me. So today, I'm writing in to share my own story. The story of how I found out my now ex-wife Michelle was cheating, how I caught her, and why I had no choice but to walk away for good. I divorced Michelle last year after catching her cheating during what was supposed to be a harmless girls' night out. I'll get to the details of that moment soon, but let me take a few steps back and give you the full story, because this one's been building for years. Ironically, I met Michelle at the very same bar where I caught her. Wild, right? It was a Friday night. I was out with two of my coworkers just blowing off some steam after a long week. I remember walking in and seeing Michelle immediately. She was sitting at the end of the bar, laughing with her girlfriends, nursing one of those fruity mixed drinks with the umbrella. She had this loud, contagious laugh and an energy about her that just pulled people in. It wasn't long before we struck up a conversation. I bought her a drink, then another, and by the end of the night, we were exchanging numbers and talking about grabbing dinner the following week. Things moved fast with us. Within 3 months, we were officially together. 6 months in, I was already thinking about marrying her. I fell hard and fast. Michelle had this way of making you feel like the only man in the world. But as I look back now, I realize that what I thought was passion was actually chaos dressed up as intensity. There were red flags and I ignored them. The first big one came from her own mother. I'll never forget the conversation. I had gone to visit Michelle's mom just to let her know I was planning to propose. I figured it was the respectful thing to do. She smiled at first, but then she got serious and said, "Brian, I like you. I really do. You're a good man. But I don't think Michelle is ready for marriage. Not yet. She's still figuring herself out." I wish to God I had listened to her. I really do. But instead of taking her advice, I told Michelle what her mom said. That blew up in my face. Michelle flipped out and refused to speak to her mother for months. That should have told me something. A mature woman would have taken that as a sign to self-reflect, maybe even have an honest talk with her mom. But Michelle made it a war, and I picked a side, hers. We got married about a year later. I was making good money working construction management and project coordination, and we bought a nice 2-bedroom condo together. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. At first, things felt good, settled, normal, but normal never seemed to be enough for Michelle. The complaints started trickling in. First, it was about her job. She was working full-time in a customer service call center. I get it, those jobs aren't easy. But every day she came home like she had just survived a war. I remember one night she walked in, threw her purse on the ground, and said, "I can't do this anymore. I'm not meant to be somebody's employee. I want a soft life." Now I'm all about wanting better for yourself, but she didn't have a plan. She just wanted to quit and figure it out later. I supported her. I told her I'd pick up extra hours and she could go part-time or try a new career, but she said she didn't want to do part-time either. She wanted to stay home. I told her we weren't there financially yet. That became fight number 1. Then came the second complaint, the condo. "It's too small," she said. "Everyone on Instagram is buying houses. You promised me a dream life." I told her I was working toward that, but she didn't want to wait. She wanted it all now. I reminded her that we'd agreed to start small and grow together, but to her, That meant I had failed as a provider. Third complaint? The sex. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm a sex god, but I was attentive. I asked her what she needed. I tried to keep things exciting, but nothing ever seemed to be enough. She started bringing it up almost like it was a job review. 3 times a week is too little. I need at least 5. I asked her, do you even enjoy it when we do it, or is this just about numbers? She didn't like that question. Another fight. Fourth complaint. Travel. She suddenly decided we should be taking 2 vacations together every year and that she should get to take 1 solo trip too. I asked, where did this come from? She said one of her friends does it, and it's healthy. I asked, who is she going with? Michelle said she'd figure it out. I told her I wasn't comfortable with that. She accused me of being controlling. Fifth, and this was the wildest one, she accused me of cheating with our neighbor just because I helped her change her oil. I've known that neighbor for years. She's a widow in her 50s. Michelle said, she's always smiling at you. I bet she's giving you something I'm not. I laughed at first, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. She was serious. It wasn't even jealousy. It was projection. After all of this, the girls' nights began. At first, it was once a month, then twice, then every other weekend. I had a bad feeling. Something in my gut said this wasn't just wine and laughter with girlfriends. On her second girls' night out, I noticed her acting sketchy about where she was going. She told me she and the girls were hitting up this new bar across town. But something didn't add up. She was getting dressed like she was going on a date, not like she was going out with friends. I played dumb. I smiled, told her to have fun, and as soon as she left, I went into her Facebook messages on the laptop. That's when I saw it. She had been messaging some guy I'd never heard of, talking about how excited she was to see him, telling him she was ditching the girls early to meet up. I felt my blood pressure shoot through the roof. She even told him the name of the bar she was actually going to. The one where we met all those years ago. I couldn't believe it. She was trying to throw me off by giving me the name of a different place. I got dressed and drove straight to the bar. I parked 2 blocks away, walked in quietly, and there she was, at our old spot, hugged up on some guy, arms around his neck, laughing, kissing him like she hadn't just left her husband at home. I lost it. I went straight for the guy. I shoved him so hard his stool flipped over. He got up. We started swinging. A couple of people jumped in to separate us. Bouncers got involved. Cops were called. Thankfully, one of the officers was someone I went to school with. He pulled me aside and said, Brian, go home now. Don't say a word. That man saved me from getting arrested that night. Michelle came home hours later, makeup smudged, hair a mess, crying, begging. It didn't mean anything. I didn't sleep with him. Please don't leave me. I'll do anything. And you know what I realized in that moment? She didn't want to stay married because she loved me. She wanted to stay married so she wouldn't have to go back to work. The next day, I called my lawyer. I told him I was done. He laid out the steps: filing, serving, separation timelines, financial disclosures, mediation. I didn't care how long it took. I was all in. Meanwhile, Michelle kept begging. She even threatened to hurt herself if I went through with it. I told her flat out, if you do that, that's on you, and it'll only make divorcing you easier. I had the divorce papers served to her at her mom's house. She never responded, but her mother did. She called me and said, Brian, I'm heartbroken. I loved you like a son-in-law, but maybe this is for the best. Maybe this is what brings Michelle back to me. She's staying here now. I'll take care of her. The court battle was ugly. Michelle tried to take everything, half the condo, my tools, my truck, even my dog. But I came prepared. My lawyer was sharp. We had the texts. We had screenshots. We had everything. In the end, the judge ruled fair and square. What was mine stayed mine. What was hers stayed hers. And she left the courtroom crying. I walked out free. To any man reading this, let me say this. Don't ignore the red flags just because the sex is good or because you're scared to start over. A woman who disrespects you, who lies to you, who tries to throw you off the scent while she's out with another man. She's already made her choice. You just need to make yours. Thank you for reading this and for giving me the chance to get it all off my chest. If even one guy out there hears my story and avoids the same trap, then it was worth writing. Take care and keep the stories coming. Brian. Subject: quick add-on before you post my story, how I leveled up after the divorce. Hey again, true story. I really appreciate you reading and considering my email for the channel. Before you post it, I wanted to follow up with something important. I realized that while my last email covered the downfall and betrayal, I never really told you what happened after. And to be honest, what came next has been the most transformational part of my life. I don't just want to be remembered as the guy who caught his wife cheating at a bar. I want to show that you can come out stronger. That getting burned like that doesn't mean you stay broken. So here's what I've been up to, how I rebuilt, and how I plan to keep leveling up. Right after the divorce, my life was a wreck. Let me start by being real with you. The weeks right after the divorce weren't pretty. Even though I was the one who served Michelle, even though I knew I had done the right thing, I was in a bad headspace. It was like my body knew I was free, but my mind hadn't caught up yet. The betrayal had soaked in deep. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Some days I'd come home and just sit in the car, not even wanting to go inside. That condo felt like a prison of memories. Her perfume still lingered in the closet. Her stupid throw pillows were still stacked on the bed. Every single thing in that place reminded me of what she did. So I made a bold decision. I sold the condo. Yeah, I know. Some people say not to make big decisions while emotional, but this one felt right. I didn't want to spend another night under the roof where I was lied to. So I called a realtor, priced it competitively, and sold it within 60 days. With the money from my half, I put a down payment on a fixer-upper on the edge of town, a place that needed work but had potential, just like me. Fixing up the house was therapy. I spent the next few months working on that house. I'd come home from work, grab a beer, turn on some old school R&B or classic rock and start grinding. Painted every wall, sanded the floors, rebuilt the deck out back with my own 2 hands. It wasn't just about improving the house. It was about reclaiming my manhood. That project gave me a routine, a reason to get up early and stay focused. It gave me something I could pour my energy into instead of replaying. Michelle's betrayal over and over in my head. Brick by brick, nail by nail, I was building my peace back. I cut off dead weight, even some family. When I was married, I tolerated a lot of nonsense from Michelle's side of the family. Her cousin used to call me Basic Brian behind my back because I wasn't flashy or rich enough. Her friends would side-eye me if I didn't jump to pay for everything. And even some of my family started taking her side once the divorce got messy. One of my cousins said, "You should have let her go on that solo trip. Maybe you were too controlling." Man, that one stung. So I did some purging. I cut people off like a bad habit, not with drama, just silence. Blocked numbers, muted social media, no explanations. If you didn't support me when I needed it most, you didn't deserve to sit at my table once I started winning again. I stopped chasing relationships that didn't serve me. That included some friendships too. I had this one friend who thought everything was a joke, called my divorce entertainment, said I should get revenge by sleeping around. Nah, that's not me. I wanted growth, not petty revenge. I hit the gym like my life depended on it. I always stayed in decent shape, but after the divorce, I turned it up a notch. I started going 5 days a week, lifting heavy, eating clean, tracking macros, drinking more water than I ever thought possible. I dropped 15 pounds of stress weight and added solid muscle, but it wasn't even about the mirror. It was about discipline. Every rep reminded me that I wasn't weak, that I was in control of me, that no matter what Michelle had done, I could still be the man I was meant to be. One morning, I caught myself in the mirror and said out loud, "You're a freaking machine." And I believed it. I stopped dating to heal. Let me make something clear. I didn't jump back into dating. That's what a lot of people expected me to do. Get back out there, Brian. She's already moved on. Don't let her win. Nah, this wasn't a race. I needed to heal. I needed to learn to trust myself again before I ever thought about trusting another woman. So I went celibate. No sex, no dating apps, no "hey stranger" text to old flings. I focused on me, mind, body, spirit. I started journaling. I joined a men's support group that met once a month. We didn't sit around crying. We talked like men. No fluff, real conversations, real pain, real progress. I took a solo trip, not her me. Funny how she was the one who demanded solo trips, yet I'm the one who actually took one. About 7 months post-divorce, I booked a week-long trip to Montana. No friends, no distractions, just me, some hiking boots, a notebook, and silence. I hiked Glacier National Park. I stood on the edge of a mountain at sunrise, looked out at the world, and felt this calm I hadn't felt in years. I realized right then, I didn't need closure from Michelle. This was my closure. I leveled up financially. Without her draining our accounts for beauty boxes, vacations, and drama shopping, I stacked my money. I started budgeting like a boss, opened up a high-yield savings account, put money in index funds, took a few courses on investing, even started a side hustle flipping furniture and doing small home renovation gigs on the weekends. I used to dread opening my banking app. Now, I smile every time I log in. Michelle once said I wasn't ambitious enough. That's funny because I'm on pace to retire a decade before she will, if she ever gets back to work. I upgraded my circle. When you grow, your circle shrinks, but it also upgrades. I'm now surrounded by men who hold each other accountable. A couple of the guys in my gym crew are married, strong, respectful marriages, and they've become like big brothers to me. One of them even helped me get into my first investment property. I'm in talks now about partnering on a second one. We don't sit around gossiping about women. We talk goals, discipline, business, fatherhood, legacy. Michelle reached out. I didn't answer. You probably figured this part was coming. About a year after everything, Michelle texted me, said she was checking in, wanted to see how I've been, said she misses how things used to be. I left her on read. Not because I'm bitter. I'm not. I've forgiven her, but forgiveness doesn't mean access. Some bridges don't need to be burned. They need to be demolished, with the river rerouted. She had a chance to build with me. Instead, she chose a couple nights of attention and thought I'd wait around. Nah, not this time. What's next for me? So what's next? Well, I'm working on turning my side hustle into a full-time business. I've got 2 solid clients who want to bring me on for long-term property management. I'm considering launching a YouTube channel of my own one day, not to compete with you, but maybe something about rebuilding after betrayal, home renovation therapy, or just men's mental health. I'm also writing a book, nothing fancy, just a collection of lessons I've learned, mistakes, wins, everything in between. If I can help even one man dodge what I went through, it'll be worth it. Most importantly, I'm happy. Not flashy happy. Not social media happy. Peaceful happy. I sleep well. I laugh more. I wake up without a pit in my stomach. That's real wealth. Final words before you share my story. Please feel free to include this follow-up with my original story. I don't mind if it's one long video or a part 2, whatever works best for you. I just want the full picture out there. A lot of guys hit rock bottom and stay there. I want them to know they can climb back up. To anyone listening, you are not what she did to you. You are what you choose to do next. Getting cheated on is not the end of your story. For me, it was the beginning of a much better one. Thank you again for giving me this space. You've helped more men than you probably realize. Keep doing what you do. Brian.